really just call Harry and Meghan absolute 100% control freaks. Oh yes, as ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. You're right. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll have another wave. Sorry, yeah. People think you're mad out here. You know, I know they look at you as they walk past us. Who's he waving to? And you think, my friend's here. Yes, you. The friendship, we're chums, come on, we'll have another wave, taking a notice. It's good to be daft, as I often say. And thank you, by the way, for your lovely comments regarding the editor of the newspaper that said, well, I don't pick up a newspaper anymore. I wonder how well that's going now. You just couldn't make up these cloth heads, could you? You know what I mean? You just think, this is your job to sell the newspaper. Clearly, yeah, not bothered though, are they? Now, it's interesting, isn't it, when you think about it? As I often say, I know, but with Meghan and Harry, you know, what I find fascinating is they always claim that the media are out to get them, all the while perpetuating their own narrative. If you remember when Prince Harry popped up on screen, he said, oh, you know, the secret meetings with the British media and, oh, we're all in collusion with them and all, you know, absolute rubbish. But again, you know, this is Harry's own version of events. Interesting to note, though, that, well, you know, he's looking for positive PR, which he received by and large over here in the United Kingdom upon his recent visit, particularly for Scottish little soldiers and stuff like that. That was very good, I felt. What's more interesting, really, is this, you see, Meghan Markle obviously wants to be sure that she's going to get that positive PR. And we told you recently how she'd signed a deal with People magazine for money to make sure that she gets that positive PR, as ever, allegedly. But what's interesting here also, which I find amusing, is this, that you see, while they've done that deal, they made sure that no one from the British press pack, the Royal Rota, whatever you want to call them, could go out and do this. Now, this is because by the time they announced the Nigeria fake royal tour, you know, you've got to get things in place, visas, work permits, stuff like that. You can't just zip over and say, well, we're just going to turn up and cover this, you know. Now, of course, there will be no press access for anybody from the United Kingdom unless chosen by Harry and Meghan. Some people will still go out there on the hoof hoping they can get somebody. They'll even get a stringer to go out there and basically do that. That's a freelancer who may get some pictures and, you know, get very close to get a story. As I've said before, it's funny because while they want to control their own narrative, there's always somebody going to make sure that they find the opposite end of that narrative. You get the picture. But here's where it gets really interesting. As I say, she made sure by doing that really then she could claim, oh, it's terrible, you know, nobody covers the good stuff that we do. They always just want to cover the negative. It's 100% not true. Harry and Meghan know exactly how the media game works. They decided against it, and more importantly, there was no other way that anybody from the, you know, shall I say, mainstream media could have got on that particular trip. So once again, while they say, oh, it's terrible what the media does, do remember that Harry and Meghan also play the game, also to their own advantage. But as ever, it won't play out particularly well because People magazine is on a mega decline and people now know that they're literally working together. So who are they going to believe in the end? Let's just hope there's not a repetition of the previous trip, the overseas trip that Harry and Meghan took, when, of course, like in Fiji, a bit of a meltdown, and, of course, the alleged fire in the nursery. Either way, there'll only be one person now on hand to actually see whether that was true or not. And we know what they'll be writing, don't we? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.